Welcome to 2026 and to the new edition of the OHS&E Management Message, an awareness presentation on various topics that are to be shared with the WITS community. The topics that we're looking at in this month will be covering road safety awareness as a safety aspect, skincare awareness as a health aspect, littering and the environmental impacts relating to the environment. Let's jump right in. Road safety awareness. As we have just returned from the festive season and getting back into the swing of things, let's have a look at some of the statistics and causes of road accidents. According to news reports, 12,427 people died on South African roads, which, although is still far too many, was a 5% reduction on previous years. It is interesting to note that most of the incidences occurred over the weekends between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and midnight to 1 a.m. Additionally, 40% of the crashes and fatalities occurred between the 15th to the 28th of December 2025, with small passenger vehicles accounting for 55% of the crashes. 1,632 roadblocks were set up, stopping and checking approximately 1.8 million vehicles, which with more than 450,000 traffic fines being issued and 525 motorists arrested for excessive speed. Incidentally, the top speed recorded was 220 kilometers per hour in the Northern Cape. A total of 173,695 drivers were tested for alcohol, with 8,561 tested over the legal limit, which is a 144% increase in comparison to previous years. One motorist tested 14 times above the legal limit. Looking at the causes of the accidents, it seems that alcohol consumption, speed recklessness, overtaking, and endangerment, hit and run incidences are the most, with the highest risk group being pedestrians. The key safety the key safety message is it begins with you, meaning that each person is responsible for their own actions and conduct. No matter how much they are inconvenienced, rules shall always be followed. Looking at skin cancer, South Africans should be aware that we have one of the highest UV exposure levels in the world, with indications that South Africa could become the skin capital of the world. This is according to MD Donnie Fleck. The World Health Organization has indicated that both non-melanoma and melanoma skin cancers have increased by approximately 10% globally. And this is one of the top 5 cancers in South Africa. Outdoor living is something that we thoroughly enjoy as South Africans, with sports, recreation, working in gardens, or even working outside in construction or walking between buildings and things like that. This is also known as skincare hazards. But it is important to share that everybody that is outside should be wearing some form of skincare or skin cream to make sure that they're screening themselves against those harsh ultraviolet lights with an SPF factor of 30 and above, irrespective of the skin pigment of the individual, and reapplying this regularly throughout the day if they are outside. To also aid in the protection, everybody should be wearing, if they're outside, long sleeves, hats, and sunglasses. This just protects the skin a little bit further. If you are a person that is outside regularly, it is advisable to do skincare checks regularly to make sure that there's no discoloration of the skin, growing moles, growths, etc. And if you do find anything, to seek medical advice. Statistically, in South Africa, it is revealed that poor waste collection services exists, with 3.67 million tons of domestic waste went uncollected in 2025, which poses not only a health risk, environmental degradation, and leads to illegal dumping. There is also a waste management crisis in South Africa, exacerbated by the lack of political will and infrastructure investments. Informal waste pickers make up for processing 80% of the country's recyclables. Continuous ignorance which cause issues with soil contamination, whereby nothing will grow properly because of poor management and illegal dumping, which in turn can cause diseases, pests like rats and mice, and pollution to the water sources like streams, rivers, and lakes. This in turn threatens the wildlife and the ecosystems which have been established. And even when people try to burn their waste, they do not understand the damages that they are causing to themselves and the environment, the air pollution and things like that. To address this effectively would require a multifaceted approach, including public awareness with education on what happens when substances and other items are discarded or thrown down drains, development of infrastructure, as well as how the informal waste pickers could aid in this process. South Africa is known throughout the world as a tourist destination, but it becomes very unpleasant when people traveling to our country are only seeing the rubbish like plastic bottles, plastic bags, chicken bones, littered all over the place, not to mention the health hazards that this causes. We should be proud of our country, proud of our towns, and proud of our cities. A key message that can be shared is major environmental and public health issues, if not addressed, will have dire circumstances. Thank you for watching and listening to this awareness contribution for 2026 on road safety, skin cancer, littering, and the environmental impacts. Should you require additional information, please look it up on the internet, but make sure that you're not being led with false information or fake information. Verify your sources. Please share any information you have found fascinating with the OHS&E committee or any others that are in your area or your entity. If there are any questions, queries, or challenges, contact OHS&E management on #department-OHS-admin or chat to your OHS&E officer assigned to your area. Or you can contact me directly with the details on screen. Remember to stay safe, healthy, and environmentally aware of what is happening around you, and look after yourself and others. For this edition, I bid you farewell.